welcome to 2013 and Joyous Living. If you don't have the journal for this year, it's the Joyous Living Journal that Christian and I wrote. It's our second journal, and we'll be walking through it for the month, for the year. And we invite you to participate every day. Every day there's something to read and something to write. Now, the Wednesday series is also based on the monthly theme, the journal, and the companion book for the month. So join me on Wednesday nights. You can drop in, even if you weren't there this past Wednesday. And then our companion book is Living Without Fear by Ernest Holmes. So we're diving into living our vision, living our purpose, living our passion here in January to start off 2013. And I'm hoping that you have already started it off with a bang. And I'm so happy that it's not 70 degrees outside. I'm so happy that it's like actually winter. I hope you're enjoying that too, even just for a moment, because I know shortly it'll be spring. All right, so welcome to be here. Welcome to any of you who are here for the first time. If this is your first Sunday with us, the greeters have a gift for you. And so we'd love to invite you.
I'm Petra Weldis, Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas, and we're delighted that you found us here on the web. You can find our Sunday services on our website by every Wednesday. And we love that you can look at us online and explore these spiritual teachings. Feel free to explore our archives. It goes back a number of years with lots of special topics and amazing speakers. You can also sign up for our email news, My Daily Words, and my blog, Spiritual Living with Dr. Petra. If you're looking for a spiritual community, come visit us. Or if you're just in Dallas, drop on by. We'd love to give you a hug. Welcome home.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, well, my name is Rashad Harris, as he just said, and I'm here today to officially invite you to the most fabulous CSL event in the history of CSL events. What it is the 50th anniversary of the center, as well as the 15th anniversary of Petra being its senior minister. So it was 50 years ago when the center in 1963 received its charter. And 35 years later, Petra became its senior minister. And since then, the center has experienced dynamic growth, from having just over 20 members to having over 300, or as many as 300 congregants on a given Sunday. Yeah. The youth and family ministry has grown as well, from then having one child, Petra's son Jason, to now serving as many as 55 kids, and from age ranges of toddlers and babies to teenagers. And as you know, the center continues to be a light, and Petra continues to be a light as well, as she inspires and encourages everyone to spiritually grow. So this is what we're going to be celebrating. We're going to celebrate the history of the center, the future that awaits it, as well as the right now, what it is right now, and what it has become. Now, I want to get across to you that if you're new here, or you haven't been to a party here, we know how to party at the center. There will be music, there will be dancing. Now, the dress will be semi-formal. So, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Just kidding. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Lots of bling, no bling, no service.
There you go. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm not going to get into everything, but we have a lot of surprises waiting for you. I will tell you that the great Michael Gott will be performing as well. So now, cocktail hour is going to begin at 6 o'clock and go to 7, and then the show will start at 7, and we're going to go right into it. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening. You do not want to miss it. Believe me, you don't want to miss it. And then at 8:30, we'll have more time for more dancing, and if you like, you can partake in libations. And we'll just hang around to like 10, 10:30 and have a great time. So I hope to see you all there, February the 2nd. Be there or... No, you just won't be there. You'll miss it.
You to go within, to that deepest place within you, within me, within each one of us, where there is absolutely no doubt, no confusion, and no loss of memory. That spirit and I are one. It is from that space, that place of assuredness, that place of grace, that space of love, that I'm reminded that I am unique. That each one of us is irreplaceable. Each one of us is a divine, unique representation of Spirit itself, and we come together right here and right now to be reminded of that. So remember with me that in that deepest place of you, there is a union with Spirit that can never be broken. And today, with deep gratitude, we rest in that place, that space, that pure love. So breathe that in and know that Spirit in each one of us is one. Affirm it. Accept it with me by saying right here and now together, and so it is.
Good morning, all. I'm Robin Hackett. It is truly my pleasure to be here with you to share my music. I'm playing my guitar. I decided that this weekend that I would slam my fingers in my car door. Don't do it. It wasn't fun, but I'm going to play my guitar anyway. And the band's going to join me. It's a song that I wrote called I Remember, and I always forget the words to this. Not that I forget words so literally, but I forget the true meaning of this song, and I have to be reminded sometimes that I've written these songs, and I need to listen to them because the words are fabulous, because Spirit downloaded them to me. And yeah, I should listen to my own songs more. Anyway, so this one's called I Remember. Happy New Year to all of you. I remember
today, January 13th, from our Joyous Freedom Journal. Unrepeatable. Life is a profound, mysterious, wonderful, powerful, and sometimes deeply challenging. Life is constantly changing and growing. Everything is shifting, except one thing, life itself. This is also true about you. You are mysterious, deep, and profoundly complex. You are a rich tapestry that is in the process of being woven right now. Nothing about you is fixed, except one thing. You are uniquely you, and always you. And only you. Stop selling yourself short and trying to be like everybody else. You are a precious bloom in life's garden. And unrepeatable you. The question is, do we believe it? Do we believe it? Do we know it? Do we really recognize and experience this truth? That we are made in the image and likeness of the divine. We are profoundly mysterious. There's a place where we actually become the mystery of one. And there's a way in which the mystery of the one somehow becomes us, the individualized expression of the divine. Emerson says, there's no bar for where I leave off and the oversoul begins. There's no bar or window. There's no demarcation. And so each one of us is here as that divine expression, as only we ourselves can be. Now, one of the things that I noticed about this particular topic, and thinking about preparing for this particular topic, is that I can't actually teach you this. There's really no theory necessarily behind this, other than what I just said. I don't know how to tell you in words over and over and over again some theoretical understanding of this. All I really know is to perhaps inspire you into the possibility that this might actually be true. You see, I think so often we struggle with knowing whether we're really who we think we are. In psychology, they call it the imposter syndrome. How we so often walk around in our lives feeling like we're fake, like we're faking it, like somehow it's not really true what people see in us or what they believe about us, because we actually have a whole different story about ourselves. I remember when the movie Despicable Me came out, I thought, I am not going to watch that movie. I can't believe there's a movie called Despicable Me. Of course, I actually still haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really cute and it's really good. It's got a great message, and how many of us actually resonate more with Despicable Me than unrepeatable me, precious me, special me. So, my intention today is to perhaps bring a little inspiration into the possibility it is actually true that you are unique and precious beyond measure. Margaret Mead says, you are absolutely unique, just like everybody else. Isn't that the paradox, right? How does the one become the many? How does that work? Because we're all here to express some infinite variation of the divine. So, as you know, from the holidays, we have rituals around the holidays and things that we do on a regular basis. And so, one of the things that I do on a regular basis is I read you this particular story. It's from All I Really Need to Learn. All I Really Need to Know. I learned from kindergarten from Robert Fulghum. I think it's been a year, maybe a year and a half since I've read it. So for all you new people, it'll be new. For all you not new people, settle back. Because this is truly one of my most favorite stories. Giants, Wizards, and Dwarfs was the game's play. Now, being left in charge of about 80 children, 7 to 10 years old, while their parents were off doing parenting things, I mustered my troops in the church social hall and explained the game. It's a large-scale version of rock, paper, and scissors, and involves some intellectual decision-making. But the real purpose of the game is to make a lot of noise and run around chasing people until nobody actually knows which side you're on or who won. Now, organizing a room full of wired-up grade schoolers into 2 teams, explaining the rudiments of the game, achieving consensus on group identity, all this is no mean accomplishment. But we did it with the right goodwill, and we're ready to go. The excitement of the chase had reached a critical mass. I yelled out, "You have to choose now which you are, a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf." While the groups huddled in frenzied, whispered consultation, a tug came at my pant leg. A small child stands there looking up and asks in a small, concerned voice, "Well, where do the mermaids stand?" Where do the mermaids stand? A long pause, a very long pause. "Where do the mermaids stand?" says I. "Yes, you see, I'm a mermaid. There's no such thing as a mermaid." "Oh yes, I am one." Now, she did not relate to being a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf. She knew her category, mermaid, and was not about to leave the game and go over and stand against the wall where a loser would stand. She intended to participate wherever mermaids fit into the scheme of things, without giving up dignity or identity. She took it for granted that there was a place for mermaids and that I would know just where that was. Well, where do the mermaids stand? All the mermaids, all those who are different, do not fit the norm, and do not accept the available boxes and pigeonholes. Answer that question, and you can build a school, a nation, or a world movement. What was my answer at the moment? Well, every once in a while I actually say the right thing. "Well, the mermaid stands right here by the king of the sea." So we stood there hand in hand, reviewing the troops of wizards and giants and dwarfs as they roiled by in wild disarray. It is not true, by the way, that mermaids do not exist. I know at least one personally. I have held her hand. So how many of us feel like mermaids? And we're wondering, how do we fit in the game? Where do we fit? Do we fit? Because we actually feel like we have to fit into somebody else's box or category. We have to fit into some sort of pigeonhole of what it means to be normal. Like who would want to really be that? And yet we try so hard. We try so hard somehow to be normal and fit and belong and we feel we have this notion that we don't, because we feel ourselves to actually be different. Because we are different. We're both the same and different. So how do we get a handle on experiencing this? It's not just having it be words, but really, really experiencing this. Well, you've all heard it. No two alike, right? There are no two snowflakes alike. This is actually a picture of a snowflake. This is an actual picture of a real snowflake. And in the 1970s, there was apparently a great deal of controversy. Is it really true that there are no two snowflakes alike? And some scientists purported that this was a myth. And they set out to prove that it was in fact a myth. And couldn't. You couldn't actually prove it. There are actually people, since the 1870s, people have been taking photographs of snowflakes. I had no idea. The internet, Google, the oracle of the 21st century. She's brilliant, really, honest to God. She knows everything. And so people have been actually taking pictures of snowflakes since the 1870s. And some guy invented this thing called the photomicroscopic something or other. And he would go out in the snow, in the cold, and he would get a piece of wood or a piece of plastic, not even in a plastic bag, but a piece of wood, and make it and have it be cold the same. And he would go out and he would catch a snowflake. And then he would go into his cold workshop, no heat, nothing. He would go to the cold workshop and he wouldn't breathe on it, so he wouldn't melt it. And and then you would put it on the cold slide, and then you would put the slide into this microscope photographing thing and take a picture of snowflakes. Since then, other people have done it. And in the 70s, they did another whole big study. Is it really true that no two snowflakes are alike? Well, this is a snowflake. This is an actual picture of a real snowflake. This is actually what it looks like. That's a picture of a snowflake. And that's a picture of a snowflake. These are real, actual pictures of real, actual snowflakes. And that one. And that one. Actual, real pictures of actual snowflakes. No two of them are alike. Because you see, while the scientists in the 70s, what they submitted was, well, those snowflakes are made out of water. They're made out of raindrops. They're made out of water. Water is made out of H2O. H2O crystallizes at 32 degrees. It crystallizes, and therefore ought to crystallize in recognizable patterns that are repeated. There should be a pattern that is repeated in these snowflakes. Not too dissimilar to what we understand and learn in the science of mind. This is from Living Without Fear. Ernest Holmes writes this. Man and woman is a triad of threefold unity. We are physical, having an objective body, mental, having a conscious, emotional, and subjective reaction to our environment, and spiritual, having an all-knowing mind. The full nature of the human being constitutes the law of our being. We are a little world within a big world, but we are largely ignorant of our true nature. And this ignorance brings upon us the very bondage, limitation, and fear from which we suffer. He goes on to say this, the eternal inquiry concerning God is actually an inquiry into the nature of our own being, right? Because we understand from the deep mystics that we are made in the image and likeness of the divine. And if we could understand a little bit more about the divine, we would actually understand more about ourselves. It is certain that we have a body, and it is certain that we have conscious intelligence, else this page would neither have been written and now read. It is demonstrable that the body and mind do not create themselves, but have their source in something greater than they are. Hence, we are threefold beings consisting of body, mind, and spirit. Now, the body itself, evolved through untold ages of time and stages of development, must have started somewhere, somehow, with an original concept that we did not create. This original concept must have been an idea in the mind of God. Hence, it must be a divine idea, and divine ideas must be perfect. Therefore, it follows that whatever the true idea of the body is, or shall be discovered to be, it must be perfect. As yet, we do not understand this perfection, although we dimly sense it. In such degree as the mind senses this perfection, the body responds to this spiritual awareness and becomes harmonious. So there is a divine pattern of perfection. There is a divine pattern of perfection for each one of us, for our body, for our physical being. There is a divine pattern of perfection. And yet, look around the room. We are as different as these snowflakes, aren't we? Each one completely unique in some way. Oh, yes, we may have similarities with our siblings. We may look like a grandmother, a great aunt somewhere. We may not look like anybody in our family. We actually, what do they say? 99.9% of our DNA is the same. 98% of our DNA is the same as the great apes, the chimpanzees. So there's lots about us that is the same. And yet, you look around the room, look around the globe, and we're all different. So there is this divine pattern of perfection within us. And yet, it is uniquely expressed, uniquely, individually expressed. What makes each one of these snowflakes unique is that, yes, while each one is made from H2O, from molecules of water, every raindrop is actually a little bit different. Every raindrop has different impurities in it, different bits of dust or cosmic stuff or pollution or whatever it is. That's why we have what's called acid rain. Because the raindrop has not just H2O, but it has actually other things in it. And then every raindrop is actually acted upon by the temperature, by the proximity of each raindrop to other raindrops, which influences how the temperature interacts with it, and the wind, and the sun, and the shape of the cloud. Every bit of that interacts with each raindrop differently. Because every raindrop is actually at a slightly different location, isn't it? If you take an entire cloud, every raindrop is in a slightly different location. So it's being acted upon slightly differently. And while 99% of it is H2O, each raindrop has a slightly different makeup of whatever else there is besides H2O. And so when it crystallizes uniquely. Absolutely uniquely. And this is precisely exactly what's true to us. Yes, we share this essential divine pattern, this essential divine pattern of perfection. We share that outpictured in our similar DNA. And yet every single one of us, even with our siblings, we have had an entirely personal experience of our own lives, haven't we? We've taken in exactly what we've taken in, more or less and different than the person sitting right next to us, whether it's here in this room or the person who sat next to us at our dining room table as we were growing up. And we've all had different experiences. The environment, we have reacted and been shaped by our own environment differently. How many of us would actually tell the story of our life and our relationship with our family differently than our siblings? We've all lived in the same household, and yet we each tell a slightly different story, right? Because we had a slightly different experience. And all of that, the divine pattern of perfection, which then breaks through into the space-time continuum as each one of us, and now is shaped by the experiences and the expressions that we have personally. Do you see that divine pattern now takes unique shape and unique form? Ernest Holmes says this: it's not a matter of creation on the part of the individual mind, but awakening. All evolution is an awakening and development to a greater possibility, resulting in an unfoldment of an inherent potential. That's the divine pattern of perfection, the inherent potential. Since we live in our consciousness, it follows that a change of consciousness will produce a change in outer manifestation. Hence, we arrive at the idea that we live in and by our beliefs and opinions. And that, could we change these beliefs and opinions, there would be an outward manifestation corresponding to the inner change. A theory basic to our effective prayer and science mind is that in reality we are now perfect, even as God is perfect, and that this perfection appears outwardly in a ratio corresponding to our spiritual perception, our spiritual understanding, our awakening. The more awake we are to the divine pattern and how that divine pattern is seeking to break through as us into the space-time continuum. You see, the more awake we are, the more we can align ourselves with the pattern and release some of the dross and chaff of the journey that we've picked up. Unlike the raindrop, who can't say, wait, I didn't want that little bit of pollution. Wait, I don't want that little bit of dust. Wait, I don't really care for how that's impacting me. there and it falls to the ground as a crystal. We actually, you see, we actually have the ability in consciousness to see that, to realize that, to determine what of that is actually expressing the kind of life that is the outpicturing of that divine pattern and what is not. And it's the inner divine pattern, not somebody else's idea, not some box or pigeonhole, but it's the inner divine pattern that is seeking to express as each one of us. And the more that we can become aware of that inner pattern, the more that we can entertain the possibility that it even exists, and that we can align ourselves with it and open ourselves to it and allow it to express itself, the more that we can do that, the more that perfection that we are reveals itself. But it will always reveal itself uniquely. Uniquely, always uniquely, as our way of showing up in the world. And our uniqueness sometimes is the very thing that causes us to think that there's something wrong with us, that we're not doing it right, that we're not showing up right, that we need to so drastically fix or change something, or even that there's just something flawed about us. We're fundamentally somehow flawed or broken. So I want to turn your attention to a TED Talk that was given by a social scientist named Amy Cuddy. Actually, I posted it on my Facebook page yesterday, and I really recommend that you go and watch it. It's absolutely fascinating. She's a social scientist, and it's really interesting. First of all, her thesis is really interesting. She says, we know that the mind impacts the body. Okay, can I tell you 30 years ago there was no scientist that I knew of that would actually say that out loud? We know that the mind impacts the body. Okay, so that's like the beginning of her thesis. We know the mind impacts the body. The question is, does the body impact the mind? And she's looking to see how are we participating with this inner sense of our authentic power. And she's now a teacher at Harvard MBA school, and so she noticed that in MBA students, there's a tremendous difference in the way that people participate in the classroom. Somewhat stereotypically along gender lines, unfortunately. And in doing lots of research, very interesting research, what began to emerge is that there are ways in which people present themselves and experience the world that are powerful and confident and open to engaging. And then there are ways that people engage with the world that's not. That's somehow reserved, held back, closed down. And that you could assess a person's grade and the way that their professor would perceive them by their body language, whether they had body language that was powerful or whether they did not. And so then the assumption or the hypothesis became, well, could we actually access our own power by pretending to be powerful? And how we pretend to be powerful is by taking what they call power poses. So she did a number of studies and had people take on power poses or not power poses, both seated and standing. And then at the end of this study, she had people do job interviews. And across the board, people who had outer experience and outer representation of power and confidence and competence to a person. The interviewer said, these people I would hire. Any one of these people I would hire. And the people who had simply body language, all the same credentials, all the same criteria, simply body language of not being powerful, not feeling confident and comfortable body language that expressed that, the interviewer said, we wouldn't hire any of those. brain injury, and she was told that she should just not ever plan to complete college, that she needed to go do something else now. Having lost her identity as a smart person, she wondered, who am I really? What is my authentic nature? And she decided not to take no for an answer. And the story that she tells is extraordinary. Her experience of practicing and becoming this social scientist who is now teaching at Harvard with a PhD. Extraordinary. Her story is so extraordinary. And here's what she said she learned. Don't fake it till you make it. Fake it till you become it. And it's not that you're becoming something that you aren't. It's that you are becoming what you are. Actually, Lily said to me between services, she said, how about if you say it this way? Don't fake it till you make it. Don't fake it till you become it. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you wake it. Because the truth is we are already competent, powerful beings. We are beings of love and joy. We are beings that are here designed to express in our own unique way this pattern of perfection that is the life that we are. And the only thing that keeps us from that is a false belief that we can't do it, that we're not good enough, whatever the nonsense is that we tell ourselves. So to actually take on the pose of a powerful person, to take on the pose of someone who is made in the image and likeness of God, to actively engage in the possibility, the potential that this might actually be true, and to wander around in the world as if it is, we awaken it. We remember it. We become what we've actually already been. We remove the veils of the false idea, that which stands between us and the perfection that we are. So, and let us remember that that perfection is expressing itself uniquely, unrepeatably, as you. I want to close by reading you a children's story. This is not a children's story that I actually knew of when Jason was a child. I wish I did. I would have read it to him. This is actually a story that I heard for the first time this week. Susan Pankey had her 50th birthday this week. Yeah. So she's up there in the sound. And so say happy birthday to her. And as you know, it's a big occasion, mark the moment, 50. And so this story was read as a reminder. And I had to immediately go and look at it because I knew I was going to read it to you today. So this is called On the Night You Were Born. I just invite you to close your eyes and go with it. And listen to this. On the night you were born, the moon smiled with such wonder that the stars peeked in to see you. And the night wind whispered, life would never be the same. Because there had never been anyone like you, ever in the world. So enchanted with you were the wind and the rain that they whispered the sound of your wonderful name. And it sailed through the farmland, high on the breeze, over the ocean, and through the trees, until everyone heard it, and everyone knew of the one and only ever you. Not once had there been such eyes, such a nose, with silly, wriggly, wonderful toes. And when the polar bears heard, they danced until dawn. From faraway places, the geese flew home. The up until morning next day, and none of the ladybugs flew away. So whenever you doubt just how special you are, and you wonder who loves you, how much, and how far, listen for geese honking high in the sky. They're singing a song to remember you by. Or notice the bears asleep at the zoo. It's because they've been dancing all night for you. Or drift off to sleep to the sound of the wind. Listen closely. It's whispering your name again. If the moon stays up until morning one day, or a ladybug lands and decides to stay, or a little bird sits at your window a while, it's because they're all hoping to see you smile. For never before, in story or rhyme, not even once upon a time, has the world ever known a you, my friend. And it never will, not ever again. Heaven blew every trumpet, played every horn on the wonderful, marvelous night you were born. So I just invite you to breathe it in. Everything we ever needed to know. We really did love as children. Our parents loved us and taught us how precious we were. And that is still true today. Precious, unique, unrepeatable.
On that very note, the idea of faking it until you make it, I would like to remind you that Carol Merlo has a class that's starting tomorrow, a 6-week healthy body class. We know the mind affects the body and vice versa. So go across to Pankey Hall and sign up for that. But if you would please take your gifts in your hand, we'll consider that this is that part of our service where we actually participate actively. We practice the law of circulation by waking that within ourselves and experiencing the abundance here and now and forevermore. So if you would please join me in the abundance affirmation. God is my only source. With love and grateful celebration, I give of the divine wealth, and so it is. practicing harm at the center and are there and available to pray with us, for us, through us in those moments when we sometimes cannot see the truth of who we are ourselves. They're available immediately after the service and, of course, by request online or at one of the many altars in the center.
Hi, I'm Tommy Consolino, and I'm from the middle school class. And today we heard a story about this guy. He was walking home, and in the middle of the road, he saw something, and he thought it was a snake. And then he got all worried, and then this guy came out and picked it up, and it was just a rope. And that guy was a light, and he took away that man's fear.
Hi, my name is Savannah, and after we heard the story, we stood up on a little chair and we thought about our fear, and we had to fall back into other people's arms and knew that we would be caught and supported.
Hi, my name is Eric, and today we also made affirmations focusing on fear, but instead of the positives, we focused on, instead of the negatives, we focused on the positives.
Hi, I'm Sade. I have a fear of getting lost, so for my information, I wrote, I am surrounded by love, where I am doesn't matter, and I will find my way. And so it is.